On the September 25th edition of Friday Night SmackDown, Mr. McMahon comes out to start the show and announces that he has signed someone to SmackDown. All the way from Scotland, which wasn't a very popular country in wrestling back then, and out comes Drew McIntyre. They shake hands, and Mr. McMahon calls him the Chosen One. McIntyre's first few months in WWE will actually go really well. He wins the Intercontinental Championship at the TLC event in December and has a good reign until he loses it to Kofi Kingston. However, he teams up with Cody Rhodes and they go on to win the World Tag Team Championships. Unfortunately, they have a short reign, which ends at bragging rights to John Cena and David Otunga. In 2011 is when McIntyre really started to lose some matches and just really started to get off his game. He was appearing on the shows, on Raw and SmackDown, just couldn't pick up the wins, wasn't facing the right people. 2012 had the same fate, kept losing, and was forced to join a group. The group, of course, 3MB, himself, Heath Slater, and Jinder Mahal. And of course, they weren't the best group, of course, not very successful in the WWE. McIntyre was carrying dead weight of Heath Slater and Mahal, who of course weren't very good at the time, and they just couldn't take it. McIntyre couldn't take it. 2014 came around, and he was only appearing on shows like Superstars, the main event, the mid-card shows, and then 2015 came. After being released by WWE in June of 2014, he signs with TNA. After showing what he's made of, finally on TNA television, he challenges for titles like the TNA World title and the King of the Mountain title, not gaining any titles yet. However, in March of 2016, he would win the TNA World title. He would have a great reign defending against great challengers until being bested by Lashley at Slammiversary 2016. He would pretty much stop showing up on TNA after that, only because he had got a WWE contract once again. This time he started on NXT, and at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, he wins the NXT Championship. He has great defenses against Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and having great matches with Andrade Cien Almas for being bested by Almas at NXT TakeOver War Games, the first one in 2017. He would stay silent after that on NXT, but only because he was in his debut on the main roster. He debuted on the main roster on Raw alongside Dolph Ziggler. They would reign the Raw Tag Team Championships, and everyone thought it was an awkward pairing, but now they're a dangerous duo who are at the top of the Raw Tag Team Championship mountain. They would lose the championships to Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, unfortunately ending their reign, but finally that meant that Drew could finally return to singles action. Ziggler and McIntyre break up in late 2018. They have a steel cage match, one final battle to settle it all, and McIntyre comes out on top. In 2019 is when McIntyre will appear in the main events again on Raw, and him and Roman Reigns have a match at the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. Unfortunately, it comes up short here, but nevertheless, it was a great match. And in the summer of 2019, he competes in the Money in the Bank ladder match, unfortunately not coming up with the contract. Later that summer, he competes in the King of the Ring tournament, unfortunately being knocked out in the first round by Ricochet. In the 2019 WWE Draft, he is drafted by Raw, and on Raw, he makes a name for himself once again and climbs up the ladder to a WWE title shot. He teams up with fellow Raw members and competes with Team Raw at Survivor Series in the 5-on-5-on-5 tag team match against SmackDown and NXT. Of course, he was on the losing side, where SmackDown won that match, but did put up a good showing, and it was a great match. That pretty much sums up his 2019 year, didn't really have that much big chances after that. But in January of 2020, he competes in the Royal Rumble match, eliminating Brock Lesnar, and he goes on to win. The next night on Raw, he says that he will challenge Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 36. A few weeks later, Brock Lesnar comes out, pretty much to confront him. Drew McIntyre comes up, hits him with a Claymore, and hits him with 2 more Claymores on the Raw stage, proving that he is just way more than another challenger for the title. He's coming for that title, and he's going to win it. April 5th and night 2 of WrestleMania finally comes around, and it's time for Drew McIntyre to main event WrestleMania. Unfortunately, the timing just wasn't right. No fans in attendance, but he makes quick work of Brock Lesnar, hitting him with multiple Claymores, and even kicking out of Brock Lesnar's F5 at 1, and hitting one final Claymore to win the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. He actually defends the WWE Championship later that night against The Big Show in what some people said was the actual main event. I don't really think it was a main event because it was on Raw the next night, but it was on the same night. Anyways, he retained that match too, and he's still WWE Champion. So is Drew McIntyre the chosen one? I think so, because growing up in Scotland, a lot of people probably told him, oh yeah, you never knew become a wrestler. Of course, like I said, Scotland wasn't a very popular country in wrestling. But now he's led the path for other Scottish wrestlers who are now champions. Like
who is an NXT UK Women's Champion, Nikki Cross, who is a former 2-time WWE Women's Tag Team Champion, and Wolfgang from Gallus from NXT UK. He's been an NXT UK Tag Team Champion. And there's all other Scottish wrestlers like Noam Dar and just
probably influenced by him. So I think he's very much a chosen one. Anyways, that's today's video. Let me know in the comments below what was your favorite part of Drew's career, what was your favorite part of the video, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.